News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
4:05 now, in for Bill Walter. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update. It's brought to you by Roof Rescue. Well, a 19-year-old Logan man has confessed to burglarizing a second home in less than a year. Jennifer Benjamin has been in the Cache County Jail since September when DNA evidence placed him at the crime scene in Hyde Park. Benjamin participated in a virtual hearing in 1st District Court earlier this week, appearing by web conference from jail. He accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to burglary, a second-degree felony. Back on January 1st, North Park police officers responded to a Hyde Park home. The victim had called 911, reporting that someone had been in their house and then fled. Officers found a broken rear window in the basement. It appeared that the suspect had cut themselves on broken glass. Blood was found on several walls, a mattress, and on the floor. Police took samples of the blood to do a DNA comparison. It later was determined to be Benjamin's after he was convicted of breaking into another home in the neighborhood. Now, during this past week's hearing, Benjamin spoke through a Marshallese court interpreter, apologizing for what he called the bad stuff that he did. He said that he was now a Christian and wouldn't do it again. The defendant also claimed that he thought he was at his own home. Cache County Attorney Jacob Gordon said the burglary had frightened the homeowner. He explained that the only items Benjamin stole from the residence were some towels. Benjamin was ordered to remain in jail and appear for sentencing January 31st. He could still face up to 15 years in prison. Well, coming up, a tow truck operator is recovering after a close call on I-15 yesterday. That story on the way is this winter storm warning that's been in effect for the day so far hasn't really brought us much precipitation. We have been watching this storm. It's primarily been to the north of us, but now we're going to see increasing showers as we head through the rest of the afternoon, as temperatures have been in the low 40s today. Tonight, mix of rain and snow overnight as temperatures will drop into the low 30s. Then that chance of rain and snow will continue most of the day tomorrow. Then the temperatures are going to start cooling off, and that's going to bring for a chance of snow Christmas Day, and then looks like more snow for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Well, it's UNI Furniture that brings you our weather on the 6s with the family coming in for the holidays. If you need sofas to sit on, beds to sleep in, tables to eat at, stop by UNI Furniture where they have a huge selection and always a better buy at UNI Furniture, 28 West and 1st North in downtown Logan. Well, a tow truck operator is recovering after a semi-truck hit his flatbed on I-15 in Salt Lake City yesterday afternoon. Utah Highway Patrol tweeted that the tow operator was fixing some equipment while near 600 South and I-15 when the incident happened. The semi was unable to move over due to traffic and made contact with the flatbed and operator. Officials told Fox 13 they're unsure if the trailer of the semi hit the tow truck, pushing it onto the operator, or if the trailer from the semi brushed the operator. Together, though, the tow truck operator was transported to a hospital by paramedics. UHP took the time to remind drivers to make sure that they always move over if they see a vehicle in the shoulder of the roadway. And U.S. population growth numbers dipped to its lowest rate since the nation's founding during the first year of the pandemic. That's because the coronavirus curtailed immigration, delayed pregnancies, and also killed hundreds of thousands of U.S. residents. Figures released this past week by the U.S. Census Bureau show that the U.S. grew by only 0.1%. The population estimates are derived from calculating the number of births, deaths, and also migration in the U.S. For the first time, international migration surpassed natural increases from births outnumbering deaths. There was a net increase of nearly 245,000 residents from international migration, but only around 148,000 from new births. In for Bill Walter, I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update.
Santa's sleigh carries lots of toys for girls and boys, but it's not quite big enough to fit a real building. Northern Steel Buildings can build you that custom building you've always wanted in a timely fashion. They specialize in custom buildings from commercial, industry, warehousing, shop, agriculture, and aviation that's built to last. Schedule a free consultation at northernsteelbuilding.com. That's northernsteelbuilding.com, or call them at 435-677-7300. That's 677-7300. Value from concept to construction.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We often hear people say, "I wish I could use White Pine, but I've already paid for arrangements elsewhere." Know that if you've already pre-planned with a different funeral home, you can still call White Pine. If you are being told you'll lose up to 25% of your money, White Pine will provide a discount equal to any fee for switching. If you have any questions, please stop by for a visit or give us a call. We would love to meet you and explain in more detail.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Families who needed help this Christmas received it because of dozens and dozens of caring people in our community.
Thank you to all who donated and helped with Cares for Christmas this year.
Because of your help, these families will have warm winter clothes, toys for the children, and something special for the moms, dads, and grandmas.
From all of us at Cares for Christmas and the Cache Valley Media Group, thank you and Merry Christmas.
Welcome to KVN News for the People. Hour one of today's show, Thursday, December 23rd. This will be our final show this week. With the holidays falling on the Fridays, we're not in the studio tomorrow. So final show this week. We will be back on Monday and wrap things up on Thursday next week. We will be wrapping up next week, by the way, with a special 2-hour movie show recapping 2021, the box offices, and taking a look ahead at 2022. We'll also talk about the Sundance Film Institute's big announcement today that to attend the film festival here in Utah this year, proof of all 3 vaccination shots will be required for not only attendees, but contractors, volunteers, and partner organizations in Salt Lake and Park City. So we'll talk about that all next Thursday, a week from today, on a special 2-hour movie show. Right now, though, kicking off our final show this week with our good friend Charlie Schill. Charlie Schill writes for CacheValleyDaily.com. You can read his work there each and every day. News stories, theater reviews, and more. Once a week, every Thursday at 4, he joins us here in the studio to talk theater in Cache Valley. And Charlie, welcome. I'm sorry. Like, Bill isn't here, and right out of the gate, I get the wrong mic. There we go. How you doing?
I guess I'm doing better now.
I have to be able to prove you're here.
Okay.
People think I'm just talking to myself if I don't turn the right mics on. Bill Walter is out. He had to travel today for personal reasons. Bill, if you're listening, it's raining here. It hasn't turned to snow yet, so hurry back. But that means you're going to hear some things maybe go wrong during the show today. Fingers crossed. Charlie's here to make me look good, though. He's the professional one this hour, with Bill not in the studio.
Surely you jest.
I was thinking about this. Is this? We talked before about, there's so much going on in Cache Valley when it comes to arts in general, but even specifically the theater, that rarely a week goes by throughout the year where you don't have something that you have tickets to, something on your calendar. Is this upcoming week an exception? Do you take a bit of a pause, or are you going to be out and about?
Yeah, there's a bit of a pause. About the only thing that's going on right now is a surprise production from Pickleville. And it ain't live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me set this up. Normally...
They've never done anything like this before, have they?
Oh, yeah, they have.
Oh, have they? Okay. I didn't know.
Last December was their proving ground, and they discovered that they can do video stuff, and boy, they're doing it right now. The deal is, normally after their traveling Christmas show that performs here and down in Salt Lake, they go dark for, until summer, actually.
Sure. That was the tradition, right?
Yeah. But last year, when the pandemic was at its height, they had gone ahead and performed in the summer. All they did was one show in the summer, their melodrama, their original show. And then they did The Addams Family. With everybody wearing masks and social distancing in the audience.
That's right.
So you couldn't put a ton of people in that theater under those circumstances.
Yeah.
If you're going to put 6 feet
between groups, right?
Of ticket holders. But they went ahead and did the show, and, it was great as usual.
Yeah.
But then for Christmas, they did what they called, the 12 Days of Pickleville Christmas. It was all digital, and basically there was a 12-episode serial melodrama.
Oh, really?
Starring Jordan Todd Brown and Slater Ashenhurst as Big Guns Bo Garrett and Jacques Javert, who are bumbling criminals.
Yeah.
And that was fairly well subscribed to. It was a deal where you signed up to have access to the 12 days of Christmas, and every night they dumped new episodes and things for you to watch.
Interesting.
In lieu of their Christmas show. This year, of course, they had a tremendous success with their
sold out, right?
Over
at the Eccles.
and over again. And I did some checking, and it pretty much sold out in Salt Lake as well.
That's interesting. Now, we were wondering if it would, right? With Pickleville being lesser known and there being more competition in Salt Lake with smaller production companies.
Their reputation is just skyrocketing, and people are just packing in to see these shows.
And we talked about this. So they're going to be doing that again. This means there isn't an off season for Pickleville anymore.
No, that's true.
I wonder how that's going to impact, in a positive way, I would assume, local talent. Because that's almost doubling. If you look at Pickleville as this summer organization that was churning out some pretty high quality talent, that you would then hear these names again and again and again. Here in Utah, sometimes elsewhere, sometimes even on Broadway, and now that's more than doubled. So I wonder if you're going to see more output in that way.
And you're seeing names that are familiar here in the Valley showing up in their cast lists as well.
Interesting. Now, there's a deep pool to pull from there.
Sure.
USU, the various production companies.
And there was a guy from USU in the cast of their show Becoming a Bona Fide Bad Guy.
I didn't know that.
And there were other people in their crew of the Christmas show. So
interesting.
We're starting to get some okay. I know
where you're going. I can't think of the word. Cross-fertilization.
I'm just having a bad day.
It's late in the week.
Yeah.
And holiday weeks are stressful I know you've got grandkids, so
yep.
That can be your excuse, right?
And they're already camped in front of the Christmas tree.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Shaking the boxes?
But, okay, so what's going on now is Pickleville is doing a show called Standoff, which is a 3-episode miniseries about a standoff between inept criminals and inept cops.
Really?
I've only watched the first episode of it, and it's hilarious.
Now, this sounds funny.
Yeah. It's got Jordan Todd Brown playing Big Guns Bo Garrett.
Okay.
It's got Slater Ashenhurst playing Jacques Javert, And the queen of the place, Kenzie Davis, is performing as, and this is a character we've seen before, Gretelda. She's a bumbling witch.
That is great.
She was, the first time I saw her was in the Christmas show they did in 2019. She was Juanita Bandito's sidekick.
Okay, I remember that.
But she was more interested in writing grossly inappropriate children's literature.
And her career just
their families.
Her career never took off for some reason.
You know, the funny thing is, do you remember they did that same thing in North Pole Christmas, where they recited the titles and authors of a bunch of books?
Oh,
they had
yeah.
on hand?
That's right.
I have a feeling that's going to be a standard feature of their Christmas.
I hadn't thought of the
now on.
connection. That's great.
Because Gretilda did the same thing in the Christmas show in 2019.
Sure.
She was demonstrating these were the books she had already written. And aren't they wonderful? And
yeah.
And they were grossly inappropriate for children of all ages.
Inappropriate for children of all ages.
So
that's the marketing on that.
And the deal with this one is, it's really just kind of I don't want to call it a Hail Mary pass. You know, they're extending their season.
Okay.
Again, in fact, they're extending their season all the way to March, which is probably when their spring show is going to come in.
Yeah.
But it's a giveaway. The tickets, the subscription to the 3 show is about $18.
Oh, okay. For all 3 episodes.
And you can send a text to TJ Davis and get a $10 discount.
Oh, wow.
Which would mean $8.
$8. That is, now he's probably getting a lot of texts as he made this public.
I posted the show, posted a notice, a promo for the show on our website this morning.
Okay. Oh, I see it here at CashValleyDaily.com. That is, man, he's brave getting that cell phone number out there. I have, now I haven't previewed this, so hopefully it's not just music, but here's a bit. They did a trailer.
It's going to be mostly music.
Yeah, I think not a lot of talking here.
It's Jay Longarm. And this has been a long time coming, old buddy.
Big guns, Bo Garrett.
Yeah, he's about 4 feet tall. No, he's probably 5 feet
great.
tall.
Breeze of fresh air, and you all get to play hide and seek.
This looks very funny. It's picklevilleshows.com, the website they've set up for these streaming productions. These are original productions.
Yep.
And they're done as kind of like a TV miniseries style thing.
Yeah.
With the Pickleville cast members. $18 with at Cache Valley Daily. You can find out how you can get $10 off of that, by the way. This, what kind of potential does this have? Could they do this on almost a monthly basis? I mean, I don't know if they plan
they
but
probably need to set up a separate company to do this.
Okay.
Because if they're going to perform year-round, spring, summer, fall, winter,
yeah,
doing these would be a big distraction. Now, I don't know this. I haven't talked to TJ. I didn't know this was coming until this morning. I'm wondering if they weren't working on this show throughout the year, not being sure whether they'd be able to do a Christmas show.
Now that makes sense.
Live.
So if they weren't able to do one live,
They could drop this in.
This was plan B, or this was okay. That makes sense.
And if you got it, you might as well flaunt it.
Yeah.
If they've gone to all the work of putting it together, why not turn it loose?
Yeah. Which that actually makes a lot of sense.
But
and
the subscription lasts till March.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So something else might pop up.
Well, yeah, but the spread. If this show goes up and lasts till March, they can say, truthfully, we're performing all year long.
Yeah.
If and TJ has promised that a Juanito Bandito show is probably going to appear in the spring.
Okay, so now I hate to be the Scrooge here, but my one concern with this is, and I doubt this happens, but my one concern with this is, and this doesn't specifically apply to the Pickleville Show's website and these streaming productions. I think that's great, but I worry one day Pickleville gets so successful and so big that suddenly they reach a status where now they're able to start recruiting talent from out of state. They're able to start bringing in.
Well, they're already doing that.
Sure. But then they start doing that more than, because I love the Pickleville that's known as the place where kids who graduated from Cache Valley schools go perform in the summer and get their, finally get to wet their chops at acting in a professional capacity. Do you ever see them moving away from that? I don't, but sometimes I think, man, they're so successful. They know what they're doing. Whoever's calling the shots knows what they're doing.
Well, TJ and Derek are brilliant. They're geniuses. I
think the last 2 years have proven that.
Yeah, the mind boggles at him being able to write a play, score it so that it's got music, act as a choreographer and arrange the dancing. All of this stuff in one family.
Yeah.
That's the trick.
That's amazing.
Their talent pool is so deep.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever have to go out of.
I really don't. It just crosses my mind once in a while when you see them, doing as well as they have. It does at times. I think, what if they move away from, and maybe that wouldn't be the end of the world either, but what if they move away from that, that company that gives local kids often their first break. I like to think that their roots are so tied to that it wouldn't happen, even if they got big enough that it could happen.
Well, I think of Caitlin Walsh, the actress who played
great example.
Played Wendy in Peter Pan this summer.
Sure.
She was also in the Becoming a Bonafide Bad Guy, and she was and she's got an amazing voice. She did a just lovely duet with Jordan to open the second act of that show, and just knocked me. Right out of my seat.
Yeah,
they were so good together.
It was very good.
And she replaced Kenzie in the role of Wednesday Addams this year.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
Yeah. And that could have been because Kenzie was spending a lot of time working on Standoff.
That would make sense. Timing-wise, that would explain why she was maybe busy.
Kenzie was still in the show. She was just one of the dancers.
It's fascinating to watch this evolve, and it's also fascinating to see that that there's an audience for this much coming out of Pickleville, because I would guess, especially even at $18, but especially with the $10 discount, which again you can find out about by by reading the story Charlie's written at CashValleyDaily.com, where to text for that discount for the Pickleville Standoff Show.
And it's also on their website.
That's very cool. It just, to me, even at $18, I'm assuming this is going to be a success. People, the uniqueness of it alone is probably going to be a draw. And then if it's a hit, I'd like to see what they did with this on a regular basis. Now, obviously, in the summertime, they're probably busy. You know, they're probably not going to be producing a mock mini series for streaming services throughout the summer. But winter and fall, and there's an appetite for this in the cold months when we're all stuck in the house. Very cool.
And there's going to be plenty of things live.
Yeah. No shortage.
The winter and spring, particularly coming out of USU.
That is.
But, yeah, I think there'd be an audience, particularly since these characters they've developed have been in multiple shows and have built a following.
That is amazing, honestly. This is the website, again, different than the Pickleville Playhouse ticket purchasing website. This is Pickleville Shows. To buy a subscription to Standoff, a 3-part miniseries with Pickleville cast members playing bumbling cops and bumbling robbers. And it looks like it's hilarious, just from what I saw in the trailer there. Again, details on how to get a $10 discount in Charlie's story at CashValleyDaily.com. You can also find the number to text on the website there at PicklevilleShows.com. Our guest here in the studio this hour, Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com. You can read his work there each and every day, news stories, theater reviews, and more. Every Thursday, he joins us here in the studio to talk theater in Cache Valley, and we'll keep talking theater in Cache Valley after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Philwright.
Well, thank you, Jason. The news this hour brought to you by Berenson and Caldwell. A 21-year-old Wellsville man is admitted to breaking into a Logan home and stealing several firearms. Carson D. Christensen was arrested and charged back in August. Christensen participated in a virtual hearing in 1st District Court earlier this week, appearing by web conference. He accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to burglary and theft, both second-degree felonies. Now, as part of the plea agreement, prosecutors also agreed to drop 4 remaining charges. It was back on August 18th that a man called Logan City police officers reporting that someone had broken into their residence. They described returning home and finding the rear door forced open, and after searching the residence, a shotgun and 2 handguns were determined to be missing. The victim identified Christensen as the possible burglar. He explained that his daughter had recently gone through a bad breakup with the defendant. The next day, police went to Christensen's apartment and located his parked vehicle. They looked through the windows and saw a shotgun partially hidden under a bath towel that matched the description of one of the stolen firearms. Officers questioned Christensen, who initially denied any involvement in the burglary. He later consented to having his vehicle searched, where police located the 3 firearms and other stolen items. Christensen spoke only briefly during this week's hearing, telling the court that he wished to waive his rights to a fair trial and plead guilty to the charges. Judge Angela Fonsbeck accepted Christensen's plea deal and ordered him to be sentenced January 31st, where he could face up to 15 years in prison. And with tomorrow being the recognized holiday, or in recognition of the Christmas holiday tomorrow, most federal, city, and also state facilities will be closed. Now, the Logan Community Rec Center and also the Logan Landfill will be open tomorrow for a half day, but be closing at 2 p.m. and then, of course, being closed on Christmas Day. There will be no garbage collection on Christmas Day, but garbage collection will be resuming on the 27th. And in sports, the Jazz hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at Vivint Smart Home Arena. Yesterday, the Mountain West Conference announced some new changes coming to its COVID-19 cancellation policy. It stated that if Mountain West contest cannot be played as scheduled due to one or both teams' inability to participate related specifically to COVID-19 issues, then an effort will be made to reschedule the game if possible, and if that game cannot be played, it will be determined to be canceled and considered a no-contest event. Now, for men's and women's basketball teams, a minimum of 7 student athletes along with 1 countable coach must be available for an institution to participate in a contest. However, if the institution falls below the established threshold and is unable to participate, the game shall be canceled and deemed a no contest. However, a team may choose to participate with less than the minimum threshold of participants if it decides to. Well, we're looking at increased showers and some snow mixed with it through the rest of the afternoon as temperatures been warm this afternoon. We've been in the mid-40s, and tonight we're going to drop into the low 30s. Tomorrow we'll be back into the 40s with a mix of rain and snow expected through tomorrow night. But then as we make the way for Christmas Saturday, looking at temperatures to cool down, and that's going to bring more snow beginning Saturday, and that will continue Sunday and into the first half of next week. I'm Will Feelwright for KVNU News.
This is financial advisor Clayton McMurdy from Edward Jones bringing you the closing market report for Thursday, December 23rd. Equities ended the week higher as the market locked in a 3-day winning streak. No major headlines drove the news as we head into the Christmas holiday, with investors and the press still oriented around reports that the Omicron virus is milder and less likely to cause hospitalizations than the Delta variant. U.S. Treasuries yields moved higher across the curve. However, the 10-year is still below 1.5%. On the international front, the European and Asian markets also rose, and Bitcoin remains below 50,000 and has yet to recover from its recent and sudden sell-off. U.S. equities closed higher today. The Dow was up 197 points at 35,951. The NASDAQ closed up 131 points at 15,653, and the S&P closed up 29 points at 4,726. In bond markets, the 10-year Treasury yield is currently 1.49%, and in commodity markets, the price of crude oil was up $1.15 at $73.91, and the spot price of gold was up $7.70 at $1,809.90. In stocks of local interest, Apple was up 64 cents at 176.28. Autoliv up $2.84 at 101.06. Campbell Soup down a penny at 41.96. GE up 93 cents at $94 even. Home Depot up $1.43 at 397.07. Lowe's up 39 cents at 250.09. Nucor up 66 cents at 114.30. Procter & Gamble up 78 cents at 160.10. R.R. Donnelley up a penny at $10.73. Thermo Fisher down $1 at $650.70. Wells Fargo up 33 cents at $48.36. Walmart down 31 cents at $139.49, and Zions was up 50 cents at $62.36. This has been today's closing financial market report for Thursday, December 23rd, brought to you by Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice at 1309 North Main Street in Logan. If you'd like any additional information, please call us at 435-753-0537 or visit any of our 7 branches in Cache Valley or online at edwardjones.com.
If you think it's expensive to hire a professional, just wait until you hire an amateur.
Why the heck is the roof leaking? Larry, you said you got it fixed.
I thought it was fixed, Donna. Everything was fine until it started raining.
Larry, that's the point of fixing the roof, is so we can actually live here when it's stormy outside.
This is David with Roof Rescue. Our experienced roofing team is tried and true and will fix your roof guaranteed. Visit roofrescueusa.com to schedule your free roof inspection. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
Sometimes, when we catch a moment of wonder, it touches our hearts, especially during this, a season of light. This holiday season, explore the wonder of life at Loveland Living Planet Aquarium's Festival of the Seas. Discover a world of magic with seasonal treats, spectacular scenes, and a seaside Santa at Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. Make your reservation today at thelivingplanet.com.
For 125 years, S.C. Needham Jewelers has been known for quality jewelry at affordable prices. We have a beautiful selection of diamond jewelry, birthstone jewelry, gold and silver, pearls, and mother's rings. Show your fine taste with a beautifully wrapped gift. Prices start in $29. This year we were voted as #1 jeweler in the best of Northern Utah. Come enjoy our festive atmosphere and select a beautiful piece of jewelry this Christmas. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
It's the Christmas Eve edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. We will have Michael Berry from our affiliate in Houston sitting in. James Golden will join us, and they will get you ready for Christmas as they roll you into the holiday weekend. Buck and I thank you very much for listening. We hope that you will continue to support the show while we're out for a few days, and we can't wait for the new year. Michael Berry will take you into the holiday season from noon to 3 Eastern. Thank all of you.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM at 610 AM.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you.
Welcome back to the For the People Theater Hour with our good friend Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com here in the studio, talking theater in Cache Valley. We just spent some time on Pickleville's latest production. Pickleville, as Charlie and I have been discussing, now basically a year-round thing, and they've just launched a kind of a fun experiment. It's a 3-part mini-series called Standoff. The plot, roughly, is, 4 bumbling cops, 4 bumbling criminals, and hilarity ensues. And looking at the trailer, which you can see at picklevilleshows.com, the website they've set up for these streaming shows specifically, it looks pretty funny. Full review and details on how you can get a discount and more on the tickets at CacheValleyDaily.com. In Charlie's story, Pickleville Playhouse season continues with digital miniseries. And this is just one of a handful of things going on in what's supposed to be the slow period, right? We have a pause. When does USU start back up? Is that mid-January? That's the next big thing coming, right?
Well,
that we know of.
The next USU show opens on the 12th of February.
Oh, not until February. Okay.
Yeah, but there's things at the Eccles Theater.
Sure.
The Choir of Man is performing on the 8th of January.
Ah, okay.
And then early in February 9th, the Chinese Acrobats are back.
Always fun to see.
And that's always a good show.
Always, when you see them, I don't know, it will never seem, I'm watching it happen right in front of me, it still doesn't seem possible. What they do, it's amazing. And the Choir of Man, I'd originally kind of scoffed at this a little bit, but from what I've read and heard from those who have seen this as it's gone on in other cities, this could be really funny and interesting.
They've got 3 different production companies performing this show.
Wow.
One in America, the United States, one in Great Britain, and one in Australia.
Man.
That
can't be easy to coordinate.
They were all sidelined by the coronavirus. And they're coming back now. We're going to get an expurgated version, an abridged version here.
Sure.
Because the setting...
We're stuffy.
The setting for this thing is a bar, a pub.
Oh, okay.
And it's got a working bar, and in most places where the liquor laws aren't insane, they invite members of the audience up on the stage.
Oh, really?
To drink with them.
Interesting.
And they're drinking as the
I can see that getting out of hand.
Apparently not. Or maybe that's the idea.
That's right.
But they will still be into audience participation. They will probably have audience members up on the stage. I suspect we will not have a working bar.
I'm guessing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm guessing no. That's interesting. But now this is part of the quote unquote story, right?
The idea is that the performance, something between an hour and 80 minutes, tries to recapture the sense of camaraderie that guys from the neighborhood would have drifting into the local bar.
Okay. Which is just a get off work and go do it kind of thing in places, a lot of places in Europe especially.
Yeah.
That's go down pub. Going down to pub is how it's said, I believe, right?
Yep.
And that's where this originated, this idea of, like you said, camaraderie.
And this is a comedy show, and there's singing in it. They sing Broadway tunes. The cast we will have here is 8 Brits.
Oh, wow.
One lonely American. But they should say the American can blow the doors off the place. He'll be singing Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha.
That's not easy.
Most of the other stuff they'll be singing is pop, R&B.
And this is interactive too, right? They invite the audience to sing along and
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That is
It should be a really fun event.
Now I've heard too that at least one of the cast members is an award-winning tap dancer.
I
don't know how that works
they
in,
do
but
tap dancing. There's choreography in this. They do some rap as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Probably
interesting.
hip hop dancing as well.
That is.
Yeah, it should be an interesting show.
That should be interesting, and that's. And this is a one-night event, by the way, for listeners. This is Saturday, January 8th. Not a long stay here in Cache Valley, but Saturday, January 8th at 7:30. Tickets are still available.
A one-night stand could be all Cache Valley can stand.
Of Choir of Man. It does seem, like you said, I would guess we get a bit of a toned-down version of what they do in Europe.
A couple, 3 years ago, maybe it was longer than that, I don't remember, a touring company came through doing West Side Story. They performed at the Eccles. I was surprised to discover that about half of the songs were performed in Spanish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that traditional with?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't think so.
No. That's more politically correct.
Okay.
Jazz nowadays.
I get it.
I remember there was a performance in New York City, a revival, in which it drew all kinds of praise from New York critics for being authentically performed in Spanish. And frankly, Scarlett, I don't know. I don't understand Spanish, and I'm not sure I want to listen to Sondheim in Spanish.
Yeah, if you don't speak the language, it's going to be a less enjoyable experience.
But and there was a reaction to that show. Was it a reaction to, I don't want to listen to this music in Spanish? No. Somebody got ticked off because some of the characters playing the Sharks and the Jets made vulgar hand gestures.
Oh, okay. Which they do in the production, or can do.
Can do.
I mean, that's the point. They're in a fight.
Yeah.
In this part, it's a musical, but they're trying to kill each other.
Yes.
So, I would imagine there's some vulgarity involved.
But I mean, if you're going to put up with the music being authenticated, you ought to be willing to put up with an artistic license of the conflict between the rival gangs being, artistic license.
Yeah. I honestly, that should be something you go in mentally prepared for.
Absolutely.
I would guess.
You look at what you see on television, on cable, and you get that warning on every miniseries that we're all watching on Netflix and Hulu and HBO. There's violence, there's murder, there's nudity, there's smoking.
That's the one,
Smoking.
I hesitate. So I have to confess, when I see those, when I load Disney Plus on the TV at home is when it's most noticeable, because you're talking a lot of Disney content, and people don't realize this, but there are some things in even some of those older classic, what Disney's known for, cartoon feature films, that they have to put a warning about now. You might, and that's one of them. Depictions of tobacco use, I think it said.
Drug use.
Yeah, because someone has a pipe or something in the in Snow White, or I can't remember which one it was. But does that do anything? Is there anybody that's like, oh, nope, not watching that?
Yeah, there must be somebody.
I don't know.
Because I don't believe the Disney folks decided to do that on their own. They did it in response to somebody complaining about something.
There's that's a CYA move in some way.
Yeah.
But I just it all I can do is roll my eye each time. That are we that hypersensitive? Are we that obviously you don't want to glamorize smoking for children, but is the one old codger in Snow White walking by with a pipe with smoke coming out? I think it's Snow White. Anyway, is that really that harmful? Is that, I don't know. I wonder sometimes. I worry that we're going to have, you're going to get your ticket to a theater production one day, and on the back of the ticket it's going to have a list of all the things that are going to be in this production that might offend you.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, man.
I think about, I'm a real sucker for old black and white movies,
Sure.
Edward G. Robinson.
I just had a really fun...
Humphrey Bogart.
I had a fun... I don't know if most people aren't familiar with these, but The Thin Man?
Yeah.
It's a whole movie series. There's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious, but there's some humor in there that I, thought, well, some people aren't going to like that. But I'm sorry, the dog's hilarious.
Astor is a good dog.
And they solve crimes, and they're funny. But I was thinking about exactly what you're talking about. You watch some of these.
You look at those movies, and I don't know where we got off on to movies instead of theater, but watch The Big Sleep. Watch The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there is a minute in either of those movies that Humphrey Bogart doesn't have a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay?
Honestly.
Are we gonna say, oh, well, I'm sorry, we can't we can't
ever show that.
See those movies anymore. Somebody's going to start petitioning HBO and Netflix and Hulu to, it isn't enough to warn people that this content is in there. You must not.
Yeah.
You must not play it.
That's what I worry about that. Or worse, they go back and digitally edit them So he's holding a pen instead, or I get some of that. I get why Spielberg went back and edited the gun scene out of E.T. because his issue wasn't that the federal agents had guns. Of course they had guns. His issue was they pointed the guns at a bunch of kids. And he didn't like that. He said he always regretted putting that in there, so he took them out. And that I'm okay with. That's an artist, wanting to make it more what they originally envisioned.
I still think that's crap.
Honestly, I think we're adult enough to handle it without the digital editing. Just leave them in. We'll be fine.
I'm almost afraid to see this new version of West Side Story that Spielberg has done.
I worry about the same thing.
Because...
Is it sanitized?
Okay, let's meet and have a rumble. Let's dance off.
Yeah.
No guns, no chains, no knives.
Yeah.
We'll dance.
I'm worried about that because part of the compelling plot of West Side Story is, I'm sorry, it's at least the implied violence. That's part of the story.
And one of the things that made it the musical revolutionary was that it was so raw. It confronted the issue.
Yeah, it didn't glorify it. It was actually trying to show people it's worse than you think out there on some of these streets. Charlie Schill, our guest here in studio, and we'll keep the conversation going. You're welcome to join us, of course, 753-5868. More right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KBNU.
Dad, I just love the holidays.
I think my favorite part is the Christmas music.
I'll have a balloon, Jeep Gladiator, for Christmas.
Ford Mustang, roasting rubber tires. Or, come on, it's lovely weather for a wrinkle ride together with you.
Wow, Taylor, you're great at this.
All I want for Christmas is an F-150. What do you want for Christmas, Dad?
I'm dreaming of a white Ram truck.
No matter what your favorite part of the holidays, West Motor is here to make it brighter. It's no secret that inventory is limited, but the quickest way to get your new truck is to have one built specifically for you at West Motor, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Get the features you want, the equipment you need at the right color. We throw in some big discounts and we'll build that truck just the way you like it.
WestMotorCompany.com.
It's a musical tradition. Chip Davis, the founder and musical director of Mannheim Steamroller, presents a coast-to-coast broadcast of Mannheim Steamroller's An American Christmas.
Hi, this is Chip Davis. Join us Christmas Day for all the warmth, music, and happiness of an old-fashioned American Christmas.
Welcome back to For the People. Just 2 minutes left in the hour. Our time with good friend Charlie Schill goes by too fast. We covered a lot of ground, though. A lot coming to theaters. Theater in the theaters, movie theaters, with the West Side Story movie as well. And Charlie, this is a bit of a lull through the holidays, and then, as you mentioned, things kick back up at the Eccles January 8th with Choir of Man, and then it's just kind of full steam ahead from that point on, including there's some comedy pet theater that's been added, I noticed, to I think that's May, that's been added to the Cash Arts website. Wendy always kind of sneaking things in here and there. But they're also doing kind of a spotlight in February on the Banff Mountain Film Festival at the Eccles Theater. That could be fun. Beauty and the Beast, of course, in March. So what are you going to busy your time with throughout January?
Well, not sure.
You'll find something, though, right?
Yeah. There's... With the way Wendy schedules, and you're right, she sneaks things in. You got to keep an eye on her.
She's pretty sneaky about that. Surprise.
I'll bet we'll have a lot more than what's on the schedule now.
That's what I'm guessing. when after the holidays are done, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least 3-4 more things added there.
If we don't all get another variant of the coronavirus.
That's right. Watch out for that variant. Get your vaccinations. Wear your masks so you can see whatever Wendy has to surprise us with in January. Thanks again to Charlie Schill for stopping by. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. And please stay tuned. Governor Cox gives a little preview of what he'll be pressing the legislature to spend some money on in the legislative session. That's coming up in hour 2 right after this.